Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Cop Council. How are we all? Hopefully, all of you are having a fantastic Sunday, wherever you are around the world. And welcome back to another Liverpool news episode for you guys this evening. How are we, chat? Hopefully, everyone is all good and all well. Why wouldn't you be? Of course, obviously, Liverpool won yesterday, of course, in the FA Cup. It's nice to be in the fourth round of the FA Cup, unlike some teams. Anyway, of course, that's a little dig towards my Arsenal. Anyway, but how are we, chat? Hopefully everyone's all good and all well. Of course, we're going to be talking mainly tonight about Khvicha Kvaratskhelia. Of course, again, obviously, we said yesterday then we would either be live today or yesterday with, of course, more news on, of course, this situation. Again, let us know your guys' thoughts in the comments. But it does look like PSG are massively ahead of Liverpool in terms of the race to sign him. Again, we'll have all the news and again, get your guys' thoughts on it as well. Because I think, again, obviously, many people have different opinions and different thoughts, of course, about Liverpool and obviously potentially not getting him, which I think, again, will anger a few people, as it normally does through the January or the summer transfer window, of course. Anyway, but let me know how you guys are feeling, of course, anyway. And yeah, first thing, of course, just before we do shoot into, of course, the Khvicha news. Of course, speaking on FA Cup, Liverpool getting Plymouth in the fourth round of the FA Cup. Of course, I think it's the last time we played them, I believe, was in the 15-16 season. We played them. I think we ended up drawing at Anfield 0-0, and then we ended up beating them 1-0 away. Of course, I think Lucas, of course, getting the goal in that game as well. So again, good round, for Liverpool. Of course, I think, Man United, I think, got Leicester. I think Chelsea as well got Villa, I think. So again, tough ties in that, to be fair. But for Liverpool, again, very, very good draw for us, of course, considering, again, we could have got City, we could have got United. Again, you would think, Liverpool would be, again, happy with that draw, to be fair. But again, let me know your guys' thoughts in the comments, because I think, look, Plymouth, you can play pretty much your second team, and supposedly when this is fixtured in, I think we're away. Obviously, we're at home to Spurs in the League Cup. We play this game against Plymouth, and then we've got the Merseyside derby as well. So again, tough round of fixtures going around in that aspect of things, of course, as well. But again, let me know your guys' thoughts on it as well, because I think it's a really good draw for Liverpool anyway. But getting back then on the Khvicha news, of course. Now, again, we haven't had much news in the last 24 hours, but again, obviously, just to reiterate, of course, on obviously what we are talking about. Again, obviously, David Ornstein put this report out a couple of days ago, of course, saying that Liverpool could consider a move to sign Khvicha Kvaratskhelia if he leaves Napoli in January. And of course, me saying that now, of course, obviously Antonio Conte did confirm the news that he does want to leave the football club. Again, Fabrizio Romano quoting it and saying, again, breaking, Antonio Conte confirms Kvaratskhelia has asked to leave the club. He said, I spoke to Khvicha and he confirmed his plans to leave the club immediately, as revealed 2 days ago. PSG are on it. And what he had to say as well in terms of the report was the PSG have agreed every term of Khvicha Kvaratskelia's contract in the next 5 years. The salary will be 5 times more than his current one in Napoli. PSG are in negotiations with Napoli, as revealed here 2 days ago. New meetings next week to get done. So again, the one thing I will say to this, of course, when you do look at this piece and you go, oh, they're offering him 5 times the amount he's already on, which again, you'd look at it and go, oh, Liverpool, they can't compete with that. But when you actually take that into consideration, again, he's only on £40,000 per week at Napoli. I think it's euros as well. He's only on as well. So again, Liverpool can compete with that. Again, I think it only works out around £150,000 per week as well. That's what Liverpool are fighting with. So I do think, again, in terms of, whether or not Liverpool can compete in that sense, 100% we can. But have we left it too late? But of course, with David Ornstein and Paul Joyce coming out and saying that Liverpool again are interested in him, if again there was an opportunity to go and sign him this January, again, there's an opportunity to go and do that, but it very much feels like PSG are massively ahead of everyone else, including not only just Liverpool. Again, obviously Liverpool links, Chelsea linked, I think even Barcelona, Arsenal, Manchester United as well. Names got consistently linked with him as well. So I do think, if you put money on it now, I do think PSG will end up getting him. Which, again, a few PSG, I think, fans have already said, again, why are they getting him? Because they don't really need him. But again, we'll get into that in a moment, of course, anyway. But again, let us know your guys' thoughts, of course, in the comments down below as well, to be very intrigued to know your guys' thoughts in the comments as well. But Damo says, nice draw. Shame it's not at home. Good opportunity to rotate the squads. Absolutely. Again, I like it, though, the fact that our second team, I think our second team can go there and get a result, which I think goes to show the strength of our second team. But also, again, Plymouth this season, they've just knocked off Brentford to get through to the next round as well. So kind of glad in that sense that that's happened and we're not playing Brentford. But look, we'll take those especially anyway. But big up Hero as well as an evening. Hope you're doing well, mate, as well. But again, on the Khvicha news, of course, I think obviously a lot of people, I think, reading, of course, the article pieces and, of course, the bits from Romano and, again, getting the general consensus of the feeling around, this situation. Again, I think everybody is under the same kind of idea that PSG, will get him this January. I think Liverpool have acted too late. If Liverpool were ever truly interested in him, I know that again, I think obviously the likes of Paul Ghost, I think yesterday was arguing with a few Liverpool supporters in terms of their opinions in terms of, again, Liverpool not going full on Khvicha. But I do think, again, Liverpool, like, it's a bit concerning, especially if Liverpool were fully, again, looking at the idea of getting him in. Maybe, he was a signing for the future. You don't know. You don't know whether or not if Liverpool, of course, was going to go and get him in the summer. But I do think if it was the case that Liverpool, again, were trying to potentially get him in the long run, I do feel like we've wasted an opportunity in that sense of, again, why has the big journals come out again, obviously, in terms of Ornstein and Joyce, where, again, another target, again, we're not going to go and get, which, again, makes us look fools in the public eye. And again, obviously, I know people will go, oh, it's just PR and this, that, and the other. But realistically, I always kind of, go back on that a little bit, where people go, oh, it's just FSG doing PR, oh, Liverpool are looking to improve the squad. Why would you make it PR? Because, again, you're not making good PR in that sense. You're making bad PR for the club. The fact that we can't get players over the line. And when you do look at probably the list, especially look at, from probably Caicedo onwards, where Liverpool, I think, over the years, especially, have been linked with so many players in terms of, again, you've got Caicedo, Lavia, obviously Tchouaméni, obviously a couple of back in the summer as well, where you've got, Zupimendi. Obviously, we've had the links with Kefran Turam, Manu Kone. Again, we've had these links before, and we've had the journals come out and write the stories. And again, that then is something where you do look at it and you go, Jesus, Liverpool need to be doing a lot better in that sense, with certain things, certain aspects. And I think Liverpool have to do that. I think we do now. I think especially with and again, things might change from now until, even tomorrow, we might have an article piece from Ornstein or Joyce saying that, again, Liverpool are moving as well to push forward with Kvaratskhelia. And I think I do think he will sign with PSG, and I will get onto the PSG side of things as well, because listening to their supporters and getting their point of view, I think they're also confused why they're going to get him. Because, again, they've got Ousmane Dembele, they've got Barcola there as well. They don't really need a winger in that sense. I think, again, same with Liverpool. We don't necessarily need a winger at the football club. But I think with Kvaratskhelia, again, he can play everywhere. He can play as a 9, he can play as a 10, can play on both wings. He's so good with both feet. Again, he is again, when you're talking about quality signing, he is up there. And look, maybe, of course, obviously they've wanted him since the summer as well, so it's been a long plan there. But I think in terms of, again, and I think I said it, when we spoke about him when the news broke, I think this very much does feel like a summer signing that we've tried to bring forward, or at least try to look at bringing forward, and it hasn't worked out. And again, obviously nothing is signed yet, nothing's agreed with, but just the general feeling is that Liverpool aren't going to get Kvaratskhelia, which will cause then a lot of uproar then within the fan base. Which I think, again, people have the right to do, because, again, we've said it, Liverpool need centre-backs. Like, watching the Arsenal game today, it's quite clear what they need. They need a striker, they need a forward. Liverpool clearly need a centre-back. Liverpool clearly need backup. Again, we've got Ibu Konate and Virgil van Dijk as our centre-back pairing, and we've got no one else. Konza, of course, is fit now, but Joe Gomez is injured. Again, if Ibu was to get re-injured, you then are relying heavily on them two again in terms of Joel Konza and Virgil van Dijk. Obviously, we've brought Wataru Endo into the centre-back conversation because he had to realistically play there. And I think, again, if there's an option to bring in, for example, a Hato, if he's the guy Liverpool ideally want in the summer, go and get him now. And look, I think Liverpool could easily do a deal now as well. But of course, let us know your guys' thoughts, and let us know, of course, on the Khvicha news, of course, as well. We do have more news on him as well. But Hero says, surely the prestige of the Premier League would be above the French League. True. I think it would as well. But I mean, again, if Liverpool entered the conversation and went, right, we're going to offer you the exact same as what you would have at PSG, is he then going to change his mind in that sense? Because I think he will leave Napoli, this month. It isn't the case of, he said he wants to go, but if a deal can't be done with PSG, he's going to stay at Napoli. It does very much feel like Antonio Conte, similar with Osimhen type deal, where they will, get rid of him no matter what. Again, whether that be a transfer or a loan deal. Again, I expect him to be leaving the football club in January, judging by the news in Italy. But it also does feel like, certainly with the PSG stuff, things will be getting done first thing this week. From Monday onwards, it does feel like something will be done, whether that be a deal agreed or a big jump in terms of advancement in terms of the deal as well, of course. Anyway, but big up John saying, hey Connor, I'm sick of being linked with good players and never getting them. Hughes needs to do more. Absolutely agree. 1,000% agree. Look, Richard Hughes and Michael Edwards, there's a lot of pressure now for the next 5 months. Number 1 contracts, number 2 signings. Again, hopefully we do hear some good news. Obviously, Van Dijk, news coming out of Holland wasn't a couple of days ago suggesting that Van Dijk, that Liverpool were ready to splash the cash on his contract. Again, I'm sick and tired of the contract stuff now, and even, doing shows on it and speaking about it. Of course, it's great, and we get to speak up about it, but I'm just sick about it. I'm sick and tired of speaking about, Van Dijk new deal, Trent new deal, Salah new deal. Just get it done, and I'm sick and tired of it. And again, if we're getting sick and tired of it, I bet even the players are getting sick of it. I think Van Dijk, out of all of them, I think has been the most professional in that sense. But also, I don't blame Mo Salah for going on, in terms of the press, after the games and going, what, the club have not offered me a contract, and giving pressure onto that because he deserves the money. There's been no indication Mo Salah's going to drop off, and there hasn't been. And I think what the club are worried about is, say, for example, Liverpool offer Mo Salah, again, a 2-year deal on $350 a week. I think they are awfully worried that something like a Mesut Ozil will happen, where he signs the contract and then just turns terrible, or something happens and then Liverpool are paying 350 a week for 2 years for a 31-year-old who again is now in and out of form or in and out of fitness, for example. But again, that's stupid because there's been no indication for it. And Mo Salah in 7 years or 8 years now has had one bad injury, and he's recovered from that and had probably the best season of his life after that as well, which I think is funny. Because again, I always say it, I think the club expected a drop off from Mo, especially with the injury. I think the club expected it, and of course, it hasn't worked. It's backfired, and Mo Salah's getting his hopefully going to get his new deal. Anyway, but big up Jack as well. Hope you're doing well. Spend the money, John, as well. Thank you, Mark, for putting it in the chat. Oh, Jack's link in the chat. If we ever got the opportunity to get Yamal, we need to get him, of course. Yeah, no, I think Barca. How many was it in the end? Was it 5-2? In the end, he is unreal, isn't he? Again, how old is he? 16, 17. He will be one for the future. I think Barcelona, of course, are going to put everything behind him to be the next Messi, or of course to be the next guy to be the top of the tree in terms of winning Ballon d'Ors and winning Champions League and La Ligas, of course. But again, he is Barcelona's future proof for the long haul. And yeah, of course, he's amazing as well. But Mark says we won't do a lot of business, if any, especially in January. I do agree. I think looking at it now, I don't think Liverpool are going to do much business. Of course, obviously the Kvaratskhelia stuff come out of the blue. I think once we all read it, and even, just the wording of it, and again, looking at the Ornstein stuff, when we got, Liverpool could consider a move if he leaves Napoli in January. And I look at it and go, well, he's going to leave Napoli in January. So why aren't we pushing ahead with it? If he was a signing where, again, we might end up losing a Darwin Núñez in the summer, and I think we will lose Darwin Núñez in the summer. Luis Diaz doesn't want to re-sign. He wants to go to Barcelona, or wants to go on that. We should be in there to go and sign one of the best left wingers in world football, and that's Kvaratskhelia. You look how good he was for Napoli when they won the Serie A. He was, again, I probably even would say he was better than Victor Osimhen for Napoli. And again, they missed that partnership. But of course, I say that I think they're 3 points off the top of Serie A, aren't they? But even still, you guys know what I mean. But the fact that, again, we've got Ornstein reporting things, we've got Joyce reporting things, and now it looks like Liverpool are going to miss out again. Of course, it 100%, it's frustrating. And of course, Liverpool in the summer, depending if people sign new deals, Liverpool have a lot of work to do in the summer, because we could be looking at, us looking for a centre-back, a left-back, a DM, and that's without the contracts. Again, if Liverpool lose all three, we then need another centre-back, we need a right winger, and I mean a world-class right winger, or right forward, sorry. We also needed a right-back, to back up Conor Bradley if Liverpool believe he's the one to push forward, or to go and sign a top-class one in that sense. Again, Liverpool are pretty vulnerable right now. And again, of course, obviously we're going for a league title, but we genuinely could be in a lot of trouble in 6 months' time, where you look at the squad and go, we need backup. We need, again, financing in that sense to, again, we could end up going and spend 200-300 million just to get back to the level that we're on, in terms of, again, finding the quality for Trent, finding the quality for Virgil van Dijk, and getting the quality for Mo Salah. And look, I don't expect that. For me, I don't expect that. But I do look at it and I go, Liverpool, for me, need to hurry up, because all three of them will get sick and tired of it. I think more so with Trent, because, again, I think all of us understand that, again, his head is probably getting turned by Real Madrid, and he might have already, done so. But I think with Salah and Van Dijk, again, both of them are prioritising Liverpool, and none of them are speaking to foreign teams. But of course, at the minute, you could turn around and go, well, again, Mo Salah could go, oh, well, I can go and sign for Barcelona, or I could go to Real Madrid if I wanted to. And I wouldn't be upset if they did do that, because again, they've given everything for Liverpool. They've given the priority for Liverpool to do the deals. And by the looks of it, both Van Dijk and Salah are both saying, no, we're miles away from getting any sort of agreement. And I think that is worrying. Um, More so than anything. Anyway, but no, I would agree with you, Mark, of course. Anyway, but Jack says Jude is gonna get sold by Madrid if he plays like he did tonight. I didn't watch the game, but did Madrid deserve to lose 5-2? Jack, I saw Mbappe's goal. And I saw Rafinha's goal, but I've not seen any other thing linked with the game at all. But no one would want him as well. Who's that with? Who's that with Jude? Do you want about Mark as well? But Arojo is available. Go and get him top centre back as well. Of course, can play right back as well. I think Juve are currently monitoring him, aren't they? I'd be surprised if. Well, how much could you get him for? Could you get him for a cut price? I think obviously he is a very good centre back. The problem is injuries with him. I think that's the big problem. With him, I'd be surprised if Liverpool again went anywhere near that. To be fair, but again, it does look like he's either going to stay at Barca or go to Juve. At this point, it does look like anyway. Mark says we need to buy. We need to stay current as well. Do you mean in terms of contracts, Mark? As well, but agree, Mark. Strengthen from a position of strength. Absolutely, 100% agree with that. But how does Slot use his academy? Well, again, I think of course we've got good players coming through. Obviously, we saw that, didn't we, against Accrington Stanley, of course, yesterday in the FA Cup. Obviously, we saw Jadon Danns. You saw Rio Nguma. I've said it to you guys for a long time. I think Rio Nguma. Again, we speak upon, of course, the left side. I think Rio Nguma. Is definitely a guy that for the future. I think when we speak about, in terms of, who could potentially come up from the academy and be similar towards like a Trent, who could, again come into the first team and then push on even more. I think him especially, again starting at Liverpool for the age of 16 is ridiculous. But again, not only him, of course, obviously looking at loanees, Owen Beck, you've got him. I think he's having a good season at Blackburn. You've got Lewis Kumas as well. I think a lot of people have been speaking highly about him. Ben Doak, again, another person who, of course, again, Palace and, both Palace and Ipswich, of course, have bid already in this January transfer window. I think Ben Doak, judging from, again, the numbers in the Championship, has had a very, very good season. I think been a bit unlucky as well with goals. I think he's got 3 goals now in the Championship. I think in terms of XG, he should have got at least 6 or 7. So again, when you look at that, it's a bit unlucky. But of course, Liverpool have talent in the academy. It's just, again, finding the right sort of, again, moment to bring them into the team. But also as well, I think, when we're talking about academy players, you've got Ben Doak, who's currently on loan. Liverpool, again, have put a £30 million price tag on him. You've got Stefan Bajcetic, who went on loan to Salzburg. Again, there was reports saying that he was going to go back or come back from that loan spell to then go to Real Betis. That hasn't happened as of things are right now. But again, Liverpool have talent, but it's just, again, I think you can mix academy with also buying. And again, I don't think Liverpool, and this is the thing, Liverpool don't need to go out and buy 10 to 15 players every summer, even though, again, social media will get you to believe that. Again, Liverpool don't need to do that, but we need to sign 2 to 3 quality players now and again, and obviously people will turn around and go, oh yeah, like people will say, oh, Liverpool need to do this, needs to do that. But for me, Liverpool definitely need to go and get 2 or 3 top quality first team players. And again, you're looking at, if I was to, if I was, sporting director right now, easily would go and get a centre back, a DM, and a left back. And then you look at that squad, not even thinking about contracts. You look at that squad and I go, that's a complete squad. Go and get, one of the best left backs in the world. Go and get a Zubimendi if he's the guy you think he is. And again, you have them back up. You have Gravenberch. You then go and get Zubimendi. Or again, there's rumors that Tushimeni could be available. Go and get him if you think he's the one. And then centre back Hato has been spoken about quite a lot behind the scenes, and you look at that and you go, okay, Ajax, he's very highly rated. I think he's 18 years of age. Of course, he's going to cost a little bit, but if he's the next best defender that you think is there or thereabouts, go and do him. Again, there was reports back in, I think it was like 2013, 2014, when Liverpool was looking at Virgil van Dijk, and we never got that deal done. Again, loads of people looking at Virgil van Dijk. And then you think about, of course, he would have been under Brendan Rodgers, which would have been, horrific at the time. But when you do look at certain things and you look at, if we had Virgil van Dijk earlier, where would Liverpool be even now? And of course, when you look on that, who knows? But again, that's just my thoughts. Anyway, but Mark says, I don't understand. We are the best team, best league in the world, the best in Europe. What is going on? Again, I would love to know, Mark, as well. But I would agree. I would also think, again, Liverpool need to sort things out. But big up Jarvis as well, saying KK to Liverpool, more breaking news as well. Hey, look, I'd love to be sitting here and go, oh yeah, Liverpool have agreed a deal to sign Kvaratskhelia, and look, we haven't. And as far as I know, we haven't. Anyway, as time is recording, but look, I think Liverpool, especially, like even now, like again, I would just love if we just woke up and like, oh, Liverpool are accelerating for Kvaratskhelia. That would be great, but unfortunately, doesn't look to be the case as well. But it does look like PSG will get him now. But Jack says, yeah, all day, lads. Got battered Barca, even down to 10 men, but looked so good on the ball. Wasn't phased. Yeah, well, to be fair, I was going to say, Barcelona should be running away with certain things. But I think when you look at it, I think Atletico Madrid, I think, have just gone 17 games unbeaten, which I think is the most in their club history now, or gone on a win streak of 17 anyway. And again, La Liga is probably, again, looking up to one of the best title races going. And isn't it funny? Every single season after a summer window where Atletico sign a striker, they end up going on to win a league. Back in, what was it, 13, 14, they end up signing Falcao, end up going to win the league. Even, what was it, 2021, they signed Luis Suarez, they end up going on to win the league. They signed Julian Alvarez this year, and it looks like they could go on to win the league as well. So I'd like it if Atletico did go to win La Liga. But I also say that I absolutely detest playing against them because, again, we all know the football of Antonio Conte, of Diego Simeone again. So, look, we don't want that anyway. But Hustler says, how is this still a title? FSG clowns done it again. There's we talking. Will we tried players chooses other clubs, blah blah. Yeah, and that's the thing. And look, I was going to say it in a little bit as well, but again, obviously there was a report, I think from a Georgian reporter. Of course, it was taken from Everything Anfield, or Everything Liverpool, sorry. Of course, saying obviously Khvicha Kvaratskhelia should indeed sign at PSG next week for a package worth 65 million euros plus bonuses amounting to a total package of 80 million euros. And again, but by the sounds of it, PSG have struggled to get this done. But judging by judging by, again, what a lot of people have said, again, supposedly they offered originally Colin Mawani, who I think, of course, is going to leave PSG this January. They did offer Napoli him. He rejected Napoli. They then went on to offer Skriniar as well. But again, Napoli are not interested in him. Apparently, they want Danilo, of course, who's been casted out of being casted out of Juventus, sorry, as well. So look, they've wanted, that in particular. I think when you do look at that, or you do look at, the type of situation, and speaking more of a PSG side of things, again, like I said, looking at them this season and looking at PSG overall, again, they've got, I think the big conversation around PSG, and just judging from the outside in, has been the fact that they need a striker. Looking at their Champions League position, again, they could be knocked out of the Champions League, now. And I think this is why I think, especially now, they are desperate to get Khvicha in, because, again, I think they play Manchester City in, I think, 1 or 2 weeks' time. But looking at their team, again, judging, and this is just purely based on their last starting 11 in the French league. Again, they're playing Joao Neves at left back, and that's a weird thing to, of course, look at. But again, when you look at that front line, of course, they're playing Desire Do, I think it is. Of course, he's more traditionally a winger, or a number 10. But he's having to play at striker at the moment. Of course, he can play there. And looking at his statistics now, 1 goal and 2 assists in 13 French league games. But then again, they've got quality on the wings. They've got Barcola, they've got Ousmane Dembele, so they don't necessarily need a Kvaratskhelia. And of course, they're playing a midfield three of Fabian Ruiz, Zaire Emery, and Vitinha as well. So again, he's potentially not even going to play as a number 10. So why are PSG pushing for this type of deal? And the only thing I can get from it is the fact that they even think it's an opportunity or bargain signing, because it is. Again, 80 million euros, I think, works out around 72 million pounds. But Liverpool, the thing is, Liverpool, like I said, they might have already thought about Kvaratskhelia for the future. Then again, they may have gone, oh, well, maybe we might want him for the summer transfer window, because again, we might be losing a Darwin Núñez, a Luis Diaz. Again, there's reports flying about the Luis Diaz contract isn't going too well, because he's refusing to sign it in that sense. And if that is the case, Liverpool could be potentially in the lines to sell Luis Diaz in the summer, and you never know, because again, he might want a Barcelona transfer where, again, that's already said and done. Again, there might be another club that we don't know about, maybe in the future. But again, that's just purely speculation. But I think in terms of Liverpool, again, it's awful from us that our name again has been put out there. And I think, look, a lot of people are rightfully annoyed and pissed off by it, because again, it's another player that we've missed out on, supposedly. And of course, if the reports are true that, again, Liverpool were just thinking about it, then why is that being broadcasted out into the media? Because it makes us look stupid in that sense, and it makes us look less ambitious than everyone else. And I think that's really stupid. I don't know whether or not anybody else would agree with that, but in my opinion, it makes us look dumb, and it really does. Again, we don't need the position, so why is our names being a part of it? When we've got Gakpo, we've got Luis Diaz, unless they thought maybe Liverpool would go and get him in the summer. But again, obviously, we'll have to know more. Obviously, when it comes out from maybe a Joyce or an Ornstein as well. But of course, let us know your guys' thoughts, of course, in the comments down below. But Gary Singh, Talia Albin, Connor, would you make Dan's the main striker until the end of the season? No, Jadon Dan's is way too young for that. I think he has a bright future ahead of him, but no. Definitely wouldn't make Jadon Dan's the top guy at Liverpool at the minute. I think he has everything in a striker, I know I've already seen people obviously on social media say, oh, he should be ahead of Darwin Núñez already because, again, he scores against Accrington. But, I think, look, you need to bet him into certain games. I even think against Plymouth, you could give him an opportunity there. If he stays at the club, of course, he could go on loan now because he is back fit, which would be a good, a good step in his development, of course, as well. But UM says, I think there'll be a lot of changes in the summer. A slot would have a full assessment of the squad, and Edwards/Hughes will know who they want to clear out. Yeah, 100% agree. I think, for me, I think Darwin Núñez is gone. And look, I don't like, again, signaling out certain players, but it's not been great, has it, with Darwin, unfortunately. But for me, I would say Darwin's definitely one that's on the chopping block. And that is unfortunate because, again, he is now the club, well, judging by, the add-ons and so on, he will be the club record signing, and it hasn't worked out again, and that is unfortunate as well. But yeah, if you could smash the likes, there is 19 people in right now. So again, if you're new, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, of course, for the latest news. Of course, tomorrow will be, of course, match preview show for the Forest game, which will be, again, great game for the neutral supporters, of course. Anyway, I was going to say natural supporters then. It's not always green on the other side. True. Well, look at Phil Coutinho. Look at Emre Can. Even Sadio Mane at that point, you could even say, to be fair. But Slot and Hughes are yes men as well. We haven't seen that yet, I don't think. Again, I would slightly push back on that. I do think, again, Slot, I think the summer transfer window will be huge, to see what we go for. But again, we have to wait and see, don't we? To be fair. But Colin Mawani was a massive flop for them. Crazy money to spend on him. Yeah, like, again, what was it? 70 plus million, I think it was. Hasn't worked out. And again, I know people instantly write off certain individual players because, again, you look at certain things. But I think when you do look at, certainly, like, towards him, he could go to another club and be better, and of course, I think even Spurs have been linked. I think Manchester United have been linked. And you could definitely see him being better. But because, again, you look at, somebody like Lo Celso, was at PSG, didn't work out. Obviously, you look at Mo Salah, for example. Mo Salah, obviously, at Chelsea, didn't work out. Went to Italy, was brilliant in this area. Come back to, obviously, the Premier League with Liverpool, and the rest was history. So definitely, of course, you could. I'd say because a big signing hasn't worked out at some way, like Darwin, for example. I've said that Darwin for me will leave Liverpool in the summer. I think he will. He could go to La Liga or the Serie A and end up scoring 30, 40 goals a season. And he could do. Yeah. And then people go, oh, well, Liverpool are pretty stupid at doing that. He could come back to the Premier League and end up doing the exact same thing. And then, again, your question will be, oh, is it the Premier League? Is it certain tactics or so on? I just think with Darwin, and this is just purely my opinion, I think Darwin Núñez has everything to be a top-class forward. He just doesn't have the finished article. It's like he has everything leading up to it, and then that final piece to push him over the line doesn't have it. And that is unfortunate because, again, you guys will know I was pushing for Liverpool to sign Darwin Núñez when, of course, obviously Sadio Mane left. And yeah, it sadly hasn't worked out. But again, obviously, people, I think, obviously suggesting whether or not Liverpool might sell him in January. I don't think that's even a possibility for Liverpool anyway. I don't think so. I hate shopping in the bargain basement. To be fair, I like that. To be fair, Mark, it's mad how much PR gets spun in regards to our summer business. Yeah, but again, it's similar to, again, people go, even the Kvaratskhelia stuff, like, oh, it's just PR. Like, it's not great PR. Why would it be PR? But I do think you have to question, why is the news come out? Why are Liverpool's name attached to this. And of course, obviously, Chelsea fans could also be fuming with the PSG stuff because Chelsea's name was also involved in that. But I think certainly for Liverpool, our names don't get thrown out. Liverpool's name doesn't get thrown out unless there is something there. And the fact that Joyce come out and said it, and also the Ornstein said it, there's substance there when these names and these journalists are coming out and saying these things. But this time, again, it's kind of different in the sense that Liverpool's name is being used, but it's being used for the wrong term in terms for Liverpool. In terms of for Kvaratskhelia, PSG are probably looking at it and going, "Oh crap, Liverpool are being linked towards it. We should hurry up and get the deal done." And that is probably obviously agent talk, and not club talk in that sense. And of course, if that is the case, that is then from Kvaratskhelia's side and not from Liverpool's side. Which again, if that is the case, then again, that's not on Liverpool, that's on the agent. To be fair, but look, that's to get the best deal out for his client, of course. But what has happened to our great club? We can't get the players we want, and can't keep them. Yeah, not great, is it? But which Italian club will come in for Darwin with a loan with an offer to buy? Looking at it now, Milan. Milan could come in. Obviously, I know they're working on deals. I think even now, to go and get Kyle Walker. I think right now, obviously Kyle Walker's going to leave Man City. I think that obviously Pep confirmed that yesterday. So again, could be AC Milan. Atalanta, obviously they don't need him or want him probably at this point. Juve, if Vlahovic does go to a certain team, again, you never know. But again, of course, we'll have to wait and see for that, of course. But Mark says, I hate a window when it's done open, the amount of rubbish being thrown around. Genuinely, right? Like doing transfer shows and that, like we could do a show every couple of hours in the summer, 100%. We could 100% come in, do a half an hour show about every single link in the summer. And we won't do that because unless it's like reliable people saying, who we think is reliable people, unless they come out and go, oh yeah, this is what's happening, then, there's pointless reporting on it because the amount of players that Liverpool will get linked to in the summer transfer window is ridiculous, and I think every club is like that though. I think Chelsea, Man United, Man City, Arsenal, Villa, Palace, I think every single team will get linked to certain players, and you go, why on earth are Liverpool getting linked to that particular player? Like even yesterday we got linked to a Slavia Prague left back, and looking at him going forward looks very, very good. Defensively, Jesus Christ, he is awful defensively. Like when we speak about Alberto Moreno, it's worse than Alberto Moreno defensively, which isn't great. Let's be perfectly honest, as well. Anyway, but big up Gina saying, "Where's the proof that Liverpool went in for him?" So it was from David Ornstein. Obviously, from this tweet, suggesting that again Liverpool would consider a move to sign Kvaratskhelia if he was to leave Liverpool in Napoli. Of course, he does say that Liverpool are not actively seeking a winger, but admire the 23-year-old. And of course, he was also backed up by Paul Joyce as well. Obviously taken from Anfield sector, but saying that Liverpool are monitoring the situation, and Napoli winger Khvicha Kvaratskhelia may decide to act if the Georgia star looks to leave this month. Which again, it's the whole wording of that. If he becomes available, Liverpool will act upon it. Well, he's available, and it looks like Liverpool are not acting upon it. So again, that's the sad point of it, of course, as well. But Jack says the Moises Caicedo deal was just like bid for him, but no fully well he had his heart set on Chelsea move. Yeah, Liverpool got played, didn't we, in that situation, and the team that benefited from it was Brighton. Let's be perfectly honest. Chelsea were playing around, and to be fair, Brighton did nothing wrong in that sense. It was fully on the agent, because I still believe Liverpool Liverpool had encouragement that, put a bid in and we'll come to the club. I fully think that with Caicedo, and I still say it. I think it was a master plan from Caicedo's stuff, for Caicedo's camp, was tell Liverpool this, tell Chelsea you need to act upon it, and then Chelsea did, and they ended up getting him for 110 million pounds, after Liverpool bid 100 million for him. And I think with that, of course, Liverpool, of course, did look like idiots, and we did 100%. We looked like idiots, and we also was made double idiots where we messed around so much with Moises Caicedo. We thought, oh yeah, we don't need Romeo Lavia anymore, and then we were like, oh crap, we genuinely now need to go and sign Romeo Lavia, and Chelsea were like, yeah, we're gonna go and get them both. We're not gonna hang around. We're just gonna go and offer him a ton of money and go and buy them both. And that's what they did. And again, I never felt as angry towards Romeo Lavia as I did Moises Caicedo. Never did. Because we played Romeo Lavia around so much in the summer. Because, supposedly we told him that we were interested in going to go and sign him. And then we messed around with, was it 2 or 3 bids with Southampton? And of course, then obviously we quickly switched then to Caicedo. And yeah, look, Chelsea got in there and did the business. Of course, obviously, he suffered with injuries, Lavia, but again, when he's played for Chelsea, he's looked pretty quality. And we've seen that for Liverpool as well. Lavia was really good against us earlier on this season as well. But yeah, 100%, we did get played for the Caicedo deal. Damo says, can see Kyle Walker chasing the money and going to the Saudi League. I would agree. But supposedly it's not. He's having talks with AC Milan, with Zlatan right now. So again, we'll have to wait and see, of course, on that front. But Mark's saying, but it's all they're showing interest in monitoring players. Yeah, it's the typical crap that we get every summer. Liverpool monitor FC. That's exactly what we are. We monitor FC. Well, we'll look for certain things. We'll go and do this. We'll go and do that. It's so stupid. It is so stupid. But I would like it. I think from now until the end of February, I think is huge for the club, because we need the Salah, Trent, and Van Dijk contracts done from now until the end of February, because from that period, that is when the run-in for the Premier League is going to happen. Now, last season, we paid the price with too much outside noise, in terms of, again, we got to win the league for Jurgen, we've got to do this, we've got to do that. Again, something similar will happen, towards the end of the season, especially if Liverpool drop 1 or 2, bad performances, and that for me needs to be fixed ASAP. But of course, we need to, of course, keep our heads on this Premier League title, because that's I think more than anyone wants. Everybody wants to win the Premier League this season. The opportunity is there. Arsenal, they've got no forwards. City are miles off of it. Obviously, Forest doing amazing at the minute. But we have a real opportunity, even on Tuesday, to put a proper benchmark down, or go and put a proper performance against Forest, and then push on even more to go on and win the league title. Because again, Liverpool can get this league title done pretty quickly, I think. In terms of, again, the gap once again opening up to a ridiculous amount of points anyway. But again, of course, let us know your guys' thoughts. But big up Rye, hope you're doing well. Con. If he picks PSG over Liverpool, then leave him to it. Anyone picking PSG are only going to the money, not the career. No one reached the French league as a major trophy. Yeah, exactly right. Hopefully doing well as well. Obviously, David Moyes, the new Everton boss as well, which is good for Everton, I do think. But no, I think you're right. I think Everton, not Everton, sorry, for this me speaking on Everton. No, I do think, again, him choosing PSG. Of course, I know PSG have been in talks with Kvaratskhelia for the last 6 months, but I think even still, if Liverpool come calling, you go to Liverpool in that sense. But yeah, 100% agree. But look, they could even be knocked out the Champions League. There's me saying hang on a minute. Let me double check. Where are they in the Champions League table? Because I think they are 31st in the Champions League table. But let me double check. So, yeah, PSG are currently sat in 25th. Obviously, obviously top 24. Obviously, top 8 automatically qualify. Obviously, 9th to 24th. Obviously, got to go through playoffs. But they are currently sat in 25th. And in the Champions League games, they have Man City in a week's time, basically, on the 22nd of January. Then they've got Stuttgart away, and that's it. You know, they have them 2 games to basically confirm their Champions League spot. Now, Man City have also got to win that game as well because they are Man City are 22nd. So basically, that game is such a huge game as well because one of them could get knocked out pretty easily as well. So again, maybe this is why they're going full on to go and get him, of course, as well. But again, we'll have to wait and see. But Lavia is injury prone. He is, unfortunately. But I think he is a good player when he does play. Where am I? Where am I checking? Sorry, chat. Jax just said, but there. Let me quickly double check. What are you chatting about? I've not seen anything, Jack. Don't know what you sent me. Have you sent it to me? I don't think you have, because I've got my Twitter open and I can't see anything. Let me refresh, maybe. But Mark saying, but how do we look at bailing players as well? Let me double check. Jack, have you actually sent? No, you've not sent me anything. I don't know where you're chatting, but again, send me Sam's tweet and I'll have a look. Anyway, but let me go back up to Ian's comment. Big up Ian, hope you're doing well. Saying FSG just better hope we don't get an injury to keep Verge out for a lengthy spell because it could be catastrophic. We have 6 forwards plus Dan's, yet only 4 centre halves, 2 of which are injury prone. 100% agree. You know, I 100% agree. My first reaction to the Kvaratskhelia news was this. You know, we do need centre halves. We need a DM. We need a left back. You know, of course, you know it's 100%. You're 100% correct. You know, and I would 100% agree. Like I said, like Liverpool. We could 100%, you know, go on to sign a Hato. You know, Hato would be perfect for Liverpool right now because A, he can play left back, B, he can play centre back. So you've got 2 positions in one player, but there. And then, you know, of course, if you can add then a second person, that would be great, you know, and it would be great. But of course, let me quickly look at this. What has he sent? Let me look at this. Liverpool now what is required to sign this month. We're currently ahead of Bayern Munich in the race. Striker. Yeah, I seen that name going around earlier. I don't know if that's any truth to it. Be intrigued. But again, could be one for the future. Maybe Darwin Núñez replacement, possibly as well. But if anyone's wondering what Jack has just sent me, I will quickly show her on stream. Let me quickly get that down. To be fair, but he did send where are we by? There we go. So obviously Sam Maguire's tweet suggesting, again, don't ask me to pronounce the name. But yeah, that's the tweet. Anyway, obviously exclusive. Liverpool now know what is required to sign Stefanos Zemas, I think it is. This month, they're currently ahead of Bayern Munich in the race to sign the striker. I believe I think he scored 10 goals in his last 15 games. As there's me big screen. I think he has scored a lot at the moment as well. But no, it'd be interesting. I think for sure. What position are Arsenal in the Champions League table? I think 3rd right now. You know, as Genius put there. I think they're 3rd. Are they third? Yeah, they're third with 13 points. So looking at it again, Liverpool only need a point to automatically qualify for the next round. To be fair, we don't need a win against Lille, but again, we take another win because it's more money for the Champions League as well. But yeah, three third as well. Anyway, but no, look, I think looking at it as well. Again, you've got some very good prospects in terms of again the Champions League table. Again, Madrid have done awfully in the Champions League this season. Again, looking at it, they're even 20th as well. So when you think about it, again, I say in terms of Stuttgart as well, obviously they got PSG. Stuttgart are 26th at the moment with 2 wins, 1 draw, and 3 defeats. Again, they could be in the mix to automatically qualify. I think from pretty much Sporting down, Sporting are currently 17th in the league table. I think goal difference, especially, is going to be crucial in the Champions League group stage. And I wouldn't be too surprised if we saw at least one major shock out of the Champions League. Who doesn't automatically qualify? Because of course, what I think is good this year, especially with this league table, no one drops down. Nobody drops down from the Champions League to Europa League. I've always thought that you should never, again, if you're not good enough to qualify, you should never be able to drop down. I think now it's a good thing. In my opinion, anyway, that you don't drop down to the Europa League as well, anyway. But do we think Nunes leaves this window? No. To be fair, I'd leave that question for the chat. I don't think Nunes does go. I think he leaves in the summer though. Unfortunately, because I think, look, if there's any person that's wanted Darwin to work, is me. But now, especially even the game against Accrington, you can just tell he is super low with confidence that I think his Liverpool career is done. I think even he knows himself that, he isn't first choice striker at the moment. You've got Luis Diaz, who's ahead of him. You've got Diogo Jota, who's ahead of him. Again, it's not looking good, is it, when, a left winger is covering up for you when you're meant to be the 9 for Liverpool, which again, it's not great in that sense. But Jesus' injury looked fairly serious, and Jorginho went off injured too today. That was a long, hard, and disappointing match today for Arsenal. Great, that was great, wasn't it? Obviously not the injury side of things, because again, you never want players injured. But Arsenal now have a very tough game on Wednesday against Spurs. And again, this is what I mean about in terms of the Forest game. It's such a huge opportunity for Liverpool, where if we beat Forest, you then beat obviously the third in the table. You beat one of the most informed teams in the league away from home as well. Obviously, the team that beat you at Anfield, and the only defeat we've had in the Premier League this season. But we have to be perfect against Forest, and we do. Well, we absolutely got to be perfect against Forest, because they will punish us. They 100% will. They are currently one of the most informed teams in Europe at the minute, and we need to do better. We need to be hitting the levels we know and expect that we can be at as well. And I think that will be an important thing, of course, anyway. But that'll be tomorrow's episode, of course. Obviously, the match preview for Forest will take a look more into that, of course, anyway. But look, more obviously on the Kvaratskhelia stuff, I do think he'll sign for PSG. Now, if there was any movement from Liverpool, I would be very surprised. Now, maybe they're doing work behind the scenes about it, but I think, honestly, I don't think Liverpool will sign him. And that's me being honest. I'd love to sit here and go, yep, Liverpool are going to put in a bid, maybe tomorrow and do this and that. It's like, no, I just don't think Liverpool are going to do any business now in January. I think the only business we will end up doing is possible sales, whether that be a Ben Doak, whether that's even obviously Tyler Morton going. Obviously, he was very vocal after the Accrington Stanley game, obviously about his future. So I think that's one to keep an eye on. But I think it will be will be very interesting to see what happens over the next 2 to 3 weeks. Obviously, while the transfer window is open, of course. Anyway, but of course, let me know your guys' thoughts in the comments down below. But we can't work behind the scenes. That's the whole point. It's true, very true, as well. And as well, whoever it is leaking the crap, again, stop. And whether that's Richard Hughes or even Michael Edwards, if they're just going, oh yeah, to David Ornstein and going, oh yeah, we're after this certain player, then stop that, because we look like idiots by doing it. And again, we need to do better in that sense anyway. But hopefully, Richard Hughes is actually doing something in terms of the contract situation, which again, I think all of us will be speaking about very heavily until they do sign the new contracts anyway. But I am going to leave it there for tonight, guys. Big thank you to everyone. It's been an hour that we've been live for, and of course, anyway. But like I said, tomorrow, make sure you're tuned back in. We're back live tomorrow with the match preview for Forest. Of course, make sure you're tuned to the channel anyway. There'll be I'm going to try and do obviously a video or two throughout the days, and then obviously not live, they'll be pre-recorded, but again, get your guys' thoughts on certain things, of course, anyway. And if there is any news about any players or, again, any transfers, we'll be live for it, of course, straight away anyway. But like I said, hopefully you guys have a fantastic rest of your weekend, wherever you are around the world. Again, obviously, please make sure you do hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and all that good stuff as well. Anyway, we are on the road to 2K, so if we can get there for the end of the season, that would be brilliant if we can do that, at least anyway. But yeah, like I said, any bit of news, we'll be live for it anyway. But until next time, guys, that's going to be it from me. I've been Connor from the Cop Council. I'll see you guys later on. Ta-ra.